Hey, this is Frank Yosa, CEO of Keto. Now I'm going to talk about what my prediction is going to happen in the next 5 years with regard to sports and ketogenic diet and ketone esters. So I haven't really talked about this much, but I have a fairly unique insight in that I've been helping several hundred athletes, and I can actually see, when it works, when it doesn't work, when it works less, and I start to see a pattern. So here's what I think is going to happen. I think athletes will find that the biggest performance gain occurs when they are both on a ketogenic diet and when they are taking the esters, and perhaps esters with glucose as the dual fuel. Tatiana's right there, and the boys are running track. So yeah. So here's why. So first of all, the ketogenic diet, whether or not that's good for athletes, there's a huge debate out there. There'll be like 5 examples of where it works, but there'll be a book or a paper showing that the athletes were able to, their performance went down entering in a ketogenic diet, but then it took 6 to 9 months, and then they got back to baseline, but then it won't go past baseline. They just match baseline. And then some people take the strategy of training on a ketogenic diet, so you get all the benefits of recovery, so you can do just massive, more hard workouts per week, so you're growing your muscle, but then your peak performance in your workouts will be limited because you don't have glucose or sufficient fuel in your system. So it's kind of like going to a gym or a Ferrari without an engine. It's a super beefed up car, but this Ferrari has a bunch of it's like a Ferrari with a big engine but no gasoline, so just no energy source. So your non-keto regular people have glucose that they can take to supplement the glucose that's already in the system, but keto people don't really have anything. Sometimes, well, previously, sometimes they'll suck on some MCT oil, but for the most part they just didn't have previously a fuel source. So people will, jiu-jitsu people, every single sport, we're starting to see people doing a ketogenic diet, but then when it comes to game day or the game season, then they'll go back into regular glucose source so that they can have the benefits of glucose. So, but what we're seeing is the people that are taking the ester that are ketogenic already, they're already used to the fuel source. So even though the drink was designed and is designed for non-keto athletes, there is something to your body having more MCT transporters. So there is something to your body recognizing the fuel and shuttling the ketones out of your blood, because it doesn't do anything in your blood, and where it needs to go. So with the ketogenic diet athletes, I think they're seeing just by far they're able to take far less than the non-keto athletes, and they are systematically showing results that are double, much better than the non-keto athletes. So that's one thing. But then the protocol for non-keto athletes is to do it as a dual fuel. There she is. Do it as a dual fuel, where you take a little bit of glucose and ketones 20 minutes apart, and it allows the glucose lowering effect of the ketone esters to be offset by the glucose. So you don't have 2 fuel sources that are high in your system. You have the glucose, you take a decent amount, it spikes your blood glucose, and then you take the ester and it brings it back down, so that you're functioning with 2 fuels that are just a sustainable amount, not an excess of 2 fuels. So what we might find is the ketogenic athlete will stay keto for a long period of time, and then selectively, so they can bring in the ester right now and see far more performance gains because they just had no fuel before, and now they have a fuel. And people say, oh, you don't need exogenous ketones because your body already makes it. Well, there's an entire other 9-minute video, maybe I'll put a link here on that, because that's like saying, oh, a glucose-based athlete, oh, they don't need to have glucose because they've got glucose flowing in their system. Why would they take glucose exogenously? That's just silly. It's just like that. So the ketogenic athlete might find themselves selectively using carbs, so that if they can calculate and are able to burn off that carb by the end of the workout, then they can kind of still stay in ketosis and not need to, go through another, week or two of depleting their glycogen stores. Sorry, just trying to get something out of the baby's mouth. Oh, okay, good. Sorry about that. A little distracted, but sometimes, there's never a good time to make a video, and I just want to get more and more content out there, and I think most people don't seem to mind. They like the content. So I think it's either going to be a ketogenic athlete using the esters. We're still changing the protocol constantly, but taking a small amount before and then during the workout. But I think, most keto athletes aren't willing to take glucose, but I think someone's going to step up and start, doing that as well, where they're selectively using the dual fuel and their keto, so the body's able to use it more, and you're getting some of the benefits of glucose in there. But no one's willing to stake their entire career and be the first person that does something. When people ask me, "Oh, should I go keto?" and I say, for athletic performance, I say, no, I'm not going there. I mean, that takes 6 to 9 months to get. 2 weeks to get into ketosis, but 6 to 9 months to really become fat adapted. I'm not going to tell you to completely change the way that you eat and go down this separate path, but this is still my prediction of where things will go. And the thing that sucks is you can't really get scientific papers on these concepts, because to be able to find 20 ketogenic athletes that meet a certain criteria, and then you're gonna have half of them take glucose as well and kick them out of their 9 months of keto, it's just really hard to find. So all the clinical trials have been on non-keto athletes and high doses. We really hope to see some lower dose protocols. So that's my prediction. I think it's going to be keto and dual fuel is going to be 5 years from now. People will look back and hopefully this will be the first video prediction on that. I think that'll be the default. All right, thanks, and watch the other videos. We've got MCT oil. Don't mix it with ketone ester. You've got the difference between ketone salts and ketone ester, and make sure to subscribe, because this is content you're not going to find anywhere else, because this is me working directly with hundreds of people. We also have a Facebook group where people share their protocols and their successes and even failures. I actually had one guy said it didn't work for him on his triathlon, so I encouraged him to add it to the Facebook group, so that people don't think that it works every single time for everyone and then it becomes unbelievable, but to try to learn from mistakes as well. So subscribe here and email me directly if you have any questions, frank@ketoneaid.com. Thanks, bye.